times
They're
in your life that you were given
they're opportunities.
obstacles that you overcame, and you came out better because of it.
Yeah.
The bad job, the bad marriage, the addiction, the whatever. You know, you get to a point where you don't look at things as, you're the victim of them, but if you overcome them and come out the other side stronger because of it, they become badges of honor.
Meditation helps us dial in that frequency to hear. Otherwise, we're stuck in the static, right?
Right.
There's too much going on, too much static, right? So the meditation quiets things down so you can listen to your pure, unadulterated station, which is your GPS, right? Your intuition. That's one, of course, but not everybody's ready for that, to sit down and be quiet. You know, sometimes.
Hey, everybody. You are back on the Sober Awakening Podcast. I am Tim Lyons. I am your host. I am the president, CEO, and founder. That sounds really important of Sober Awakening. Of course, that's all, self-given titles there. But anyway, I am here today with my friend, my homegirl from the mean streets of Springfield, Illinois, now a resident of the city of Chicago, Meghan McDonough.
Yes.
We go way back. Meghan is a wife, a mother. She is an actress. I'll let you tell everybody. I think I've seen you on a couple episodes of Law and Order, maybe, was that? Yeah. So
let's see. What did I do?
Cyber. Okay.
Cyber, Law and Order, Cyber.
Okay.
And Chicago Med, and I mean these are all co-star, guest star. Chicago Med and PD, and
all right.
So bunch Meghan, of other small parts.
Yeah, Meghan. No, there are no small parts, just small actors, right?
And small paychecks. Yeah,
very small paychecks. So anyway, though, Meghan is my friend. Like I said, from the old school. We went to the same high school. She's from Springfield. Mother, wife, actress. Highly intuitive, does a bunch of things in the intuitive space. Also the author of a book, Magnetize Your Light, which I have right here. With that, I want to go ahead and dive right in with Meghan. Thanks for being here with us today, Meg. Much appreciated.
Thank you for having me, Tim.
Well, yes, Meghan actually was the first person to ever have me on a podcast. What, about a year and a half ago? 2 years ago now? Has it already been? Maybe
I think it was,
year and a half. When I just started getting into all of the intuitive work and everything like that, and I just had begun to put together the plans to launch Sober Awakening, which is all about spiritual exploration in sobriety. And that kind of led us back to each other. We go back to, we went to the same high school. We really didn't know each other in high school. You were 3 years behind me.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about that on your podcast. I mean, we knew who each other.
We knew the same circles and groups.
We knew the same circles, knew who each other was, but never really connected at a young age.
Right.
But anyway, so Meghan has done a lot of things that I think fall in line with what we try to bring to our audience at Sober Awakening. You've put out a lot of content over the last year to 2 to 3 years, year to 2 years since I've been paying attention to your stuff that really falls right in line with what we do. From the abstinence from alcohol to the intuitive exploration and the development of your deeper intuitive abilities. And I thought you would be a great person to have a conversation with. Plus, I owe you for having me on your podcast.
Yeah.
So, I already asked you. I think I asked you like a year ago if you would do this, and I never got around to it.
It's totally fine. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in as far as what we've talked about and what I know about Sober Awakening, I align with a lot of what you do, and I love that you're offering a different space outside the traditional spaces, and there are a lot more now for choosing sobriety, which I like to say, because to me, with in my kind of dance with sobriety.
Yeah, that's where I wanted to go first with you. Your drinking, obviously we're both from the same place where people drink a lot when they're younger.
Nothing else to do.
And nothing else to do. And we all drank a lot. And,
it's the culture. It's the
it
culture of
really
this
is.
small town.
And some of us kind of outgrow it, and some of us, like myself, put ourselves in the hospital in our late 30s because we
Mhm.
did too much of it. But so you were a partier, a drinker, but now you've since kind of distanced yourself from it.
Yeah,
So tell
so
me
yeah,
about your alcohol journey.
I'll go back to that.
Yeah.
Now, so I just turned 50. Hey, hey, I'm a golden age chick. It's weird saying that because I don't know what that's supposed to feel like, but it doesn't feel like what it's supposed to feel like.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Like it just feels like a joke to me to say that out loud. Like that can't be
Uh,
real, you know?
yeah.
But anyway, but having said that, I have noticed over my life almost and there's a spiritual equivalent to this in like numerology and possibly, I'm sure in astrology, but about every decade, I have gone so I've always wanted to be an actor. Um, and that's what I went to college for. That's what I did straight out of college. That's what I've been doing, when they allow me to do it, throughout life. And as a supplement, I was like, I can't wait tables or just run myself into the ground doing that kind of thing while I'm, going from gig to gig. So in college actually, and I was very interested in herbology in college, but that now I'm sure you can easily get a subsequent degree in that or
Herbology.
certification. Herbology.
That's like tinctures and
That's curing yourself with natural medicine.
okay. Yeah.
I was into natural medicine. And so that's really what I wanted a second major in college, but
Mhm.
they didn't have that yet, especially at Northern Illinois University. So, so it was always kind of a passion. Then I taught myself yoga
Mhm.
and had been studying it kind of independently for a long time. And then, anyway, so those two presents in my life were always balancing, like
Mm.
the performer and the spiritual person. So, but I would say they came to a head if I look back now at every decade. So, right around 20 is when I became a vegetarian and started teaching myself yoga.
Okay.
And I actually stopped drinking, on my own, just kind of independently, or wasn't doing it as much as, say, the group around me.
Did you just lose interest in it? Did it just kind of organically leave your sphere? Or is it something you consciously tried to do?
Yes,
To
all of
which?
it,
All of
all of
it.
it.
Okay.
So I feel like as I dug more into like the spiritual aspects of self, I was more interested in that feeling good than the partying feeling good, you
Mhm.
know? And I'm not sure when I read this book, but there is a book about the Dalai Lama on happiness. And there is a chapter in there, I've mentioned it before, that I love. And it was kind of like, it was real, a big shift for me, which is the difference between pleasure and happiness. And that true happiness sustains where pleasure is just momentary. And that kind of translated to me as, going out and drinking. The next morning you feel like shit. And
Yeah.
that's not happiness. That's momentary pleasure. Happiness is, okay, maybe I'm regretting and having FOMO from staying in or doing something that's not as wild, but tomorrow I feel great and I'm
Yeah.
proud of myself and I can trust myself now the next day, you know?
Right.
So, um, so it was a little bit of a combo, but I never, in the early 20s, I did not consciously like stop. I just slowed down just naturally. And then when I was coming to my 30s, mid 20s and 30s, I did consciously stop for a while because I felt like this is too much.
Mm.
So I tried to I went to like AA, I went
Did
to a few
you?
meetings and
Didn't
I
know
did
that.
not resonate.
Yeah. No, that's okay. Yeah.
No, I mean, but I know I have a lot of friends who have, and they did
Yeah.
resonate and they do still,
Yeah.
but I personally didn't resonate, for various reasons. It just didn't align with me. And I think at that time, there was like one other alternate place for people to go
Yeah.
besides AA, but it wasn't as at the ready as there are now. There's a lot of different avenues now, I believe, that offer support for sobriety besides AA.
Mhm.
But at that time, it really felt like it's AA or the highway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that we've gotten to a point where in the world, through the growth of our ability to found community online and
Yeah.
things like that, we've found substitutes for AA because I find that any addictive um, pattern that we try to overcome when we're really addicts, community is so important. It doesn't necessarily have to be the structure of AA, but everybody out there needs some sort of community.
Yes, I agree with
So the
that.
fact that we can come together, maybe in different ways with different objectives, with different themes, we're finding more of that through the availability of this type of space online where we can just link up a lot more easily. That's just
Yes,
kind of
and
my theory
and I
there.
would say also awareness has,
Awareness. Yeah.
opened up beyond the like, the one path,
Yeah.
the idea that there are, everybody is so it's a relationship, right? Addiction.
Yeah.
It's a relationship. And some of us are born with, like a predisposition, and I have like a hair. I don't know where it is. Okay.
It's
Like a
okay.
predisposition to, in our, like, say, personal frequency,
Uh-huh.
the frequency of addiction sticks to us a little more than others, just naturally.
Yeah. I
And
was
so,
Go
um,
ahead.
so we have a choice in that is to choose to, disconnect or, disassociate or shift our frequencies to, be something that no longer has a hold of us, right? That's
Right.
no longer kind of corded to our energetic vibrancy or,
Yeah.
vibration.
Sure.
Um, yes. What did you just ask me? I just completely left.
Oh, I
I'm
wasn't
also
gonna ask.
perimenopause, Tim, so, like, I
You
can't
got
remember anything.
perimenopause going
Oh my
on?
god.
Oh. See,
So
I
I'm
don't
so staying on path, a little hard, so you're gonna have to help rope me in.
All right. No, I was just gonna throw in there that, you're talking about the frequency and the vibratory nature of alcohol as a
Yeah.
substance and attaching to our energetic self. Physiologically, I just put something online where I was doing some research and I put together a little piece that I incorporated in some of the sober awakening literature where there has been actual medical research now that shows people who develop addiction to alcohol later in life from baseline when they're younger, before they start drinking, they
Mhm.
have abnormal serotonin, dopamine, GABA, and glutamate, maybe. There were
Mhm.
four neurotransmitters on
Yes.
there where they are like people like me. I was already off, maybe,
Mhm. Mhm.
and so you're playing the game and you're not even coming into it with a full deck
Yes.
already. You don't know that, but you have things going on that make the alcohol that much more dangerous for you.
Yeah,
Um,
because it's
you
doing
know,
that thing of, okay, I actually was just, I just watched this woman talk about stress and
yeah,
ADHD and how ADHDers become addicted to stress because it gives them that dopamine hit.
yeah,
Do you know what
weird.
I mean? And
Oh
then
yeah,
that's why you wait to the last minute, because then you've got the fire burning in your butt to get it done and you can
uh-huh,
hyper focus.
uh-huh,
So it's a way of, and another, my kids have ADHD too. So like watching, um, the more I'm learning about it,
yeah,
like, when they're like, "Do, do, 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 boom, boom, boom," and I'm just like, oh my God, shut up. And then I'm realizing, oh, they're just stemming because their
uh-huh,
dopamine levels are low and they're trying to get it up so that they can
yeah,
focus, or serotonin or whatever it is.
mhm,
They're instinctually using their body as a tool to elevate their hormone levels to get their focus,
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
So point being, if you don't if that's not regulated for you
uh,
naturally,
yeah,
and you don't have a healthy system in place to access it when needed or
yeah,
balance it, you're going to outsource.
yeah,
And the outsource then is like, that outsource worked for that hot second, so now I want it again and again and
right,
again and again, and that
yeah,
that fosters that relationship,
mhm,
you know.
absolutely. Um, so so with your leaving the world of, do you drink at all now?
Yeah. So let me go back to that. So then in my 30s, I stopped. And then in my 30s, I was not really drinking out of choice. And then, so I went like mid 20s, I did a little stint of not, and then I kind of went back to drink. I think I did like 3-4 months. And then actually, it was very funny. And anyway, I'll tell you that later. I was doing a play and it was god awful.
Okay.
And a friend of mine came to see a preview because, like, this is what you do. You like, I'm like, I'm not sure if this plays. Can you come and give me like your real opinion and give me some notes?
Right.
Because I'm like, this is shit. And my friend, oh my God, I will never forget this. So we went out after the show, we went, and I had been sober. Oh God, this is like, okay. So I'd been sober like 3-4 months now, right? In my 20s. And we went out to grab a bite and after the show and talk. And she ordered a drink and she's like, do you want a drink? And I was like, no, I've actually been, sober for like 4 months or whatever. She's like, why don't you have a drink? It's like, is that bad? And she's like, have a drink. And I was like, I mean, I wasn't that like anchored into it, obviously, into my sobriety that I was able to resist. So I resist. So I didn't. And then I remember I had a second interview at this job and I fit up the next morning because I was like hungover and late and it was awful. Awful. It was awful. But anyway, so then I was kind of like, all right, I guess I'm drinking again. You go through that. I guess I'm drinking again, but you don't do it as much, So then again in my 30s, I kind of like by choice, again, I met my yoga teacher and with her, I just found, and speaking of vibration, I found, and I was smoking at the time, in my 20s, smoking, right? And I
very
started,
chic.
when I first met my teacher.
Very demure.
What?
Right? I said very chic, very demure. Is that what?
Yeah, I was like, it made me girl next door is rough,
Yeah. Okay. You're going
whatever,
for that.
I don't know.
All right.
So, I was like, cool. So but it was never really cool because I always, like, if I smoked too much, it would make me sick, but
Right.
Anyway. I guess drinking is the same. But so I would meet with her once a week and I just kind of like put everything, I was like, no, this is what's important to me. Once I started noticing, like, I'm just being around her and having her give me what's called guru cool kind of teaching one-on-one, and just being in her, like in her vibration. I was like, I would leave and then I would go have a cigarette. And then I was like, ugh, I don't even want this anymore.
Interesting.
So as my vibration raised, I had less interest in drinking and less interest in smoking. I'd stopped smoking, I was already a vegetarian, so no big deal there.
Right.
But, so that took me into my 30s and then I moved to LA. And at first it was fine being sober there. But then, and then I think this is important, natural anxieties kick in to when you're meeting new people and you're like, I need to show them the fun version of myself because they don't know me. And the fun version of myself requires alcohol. Right. And so I went back to that. And then in LA, it was easier to not be as much of a drinker, but I still did. And I still, regretted drinking at times, and had things that I was not proud of with drinking.
Sure.
But then, I became a mom and I didn't realize how much I really wanted that and how important that was to me.
To be a mom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so and when I was pregnant, you're obviously not going to drink when you're pregnant. And I loved it.
Yeah.
I secretly loved it.
Being pregnant.
Yeah. Cause there was no option about drinking. It's like nobody had to ask me. It was like I had a built-in excuse because for me, and this is probably the people pleaser part of my self-talking, it was, if it was up to me only, I wouldn't drink because I just don't want to. I don't want to feel like shit. I drank for other people because it was their expectation of what I should do. So that's my people pleaser shit, And that became pretty crystal clear, like when I was pregnant, because I was like, I like this. I realized that I drink for you, not for me.
Right.
How
old are your kids? Can I ask?
So they are 11 and 9. My son
wow.
Is 9.
Okay. So you're one of these types, like you turned 50, right? You said, I mean, I applaud you, but there are people our age who still, like yourself, have kids in grade school. Mine is, we have one and she's 24.
Yeah, well,
And
you got an adult.
I look at some of you people, and there's quite a few of you now who I see like on social media and stuff, my age who have kids in grade school, our age who
Yeah.
have kids in grade school. And I'm like, where the hell are you people getting this energy?
I
Like,
don't have it. So that's another part of this.
I mean, I'm like, how are you doing
No,
this?
so this is the other part. So then like come 40 and then I have my second child, right? I was 40 when I had my son,
Yeah.
turned 41 like 2 weeks later. And again, I was still drinking here and there. And then
Yeah.
while my kids were toddlers, right? I would have like a glass of wine at night to relax.
Yeah.
But now didn't know basically went from postpartum to perimenopause. Had no idea because I didn't even know I was, you know what I mean? Like all the hormones were all over the place. My
Sure.
body's changing. I don't know how to control it. I'm like, what is happening? I can't sleep anymore, you
Yeah.
know? So, I would have a glass of wine, one or two, even if it was just that at
Yeah.
night, not even like, I'm not even talking partying, you know?
Yeah.
And then I'd wake up in the middle of the night and I wouldn't be able to sleep.
Yeah.
Or I would be 10 times more stressed. And then I would
Mhm.
think to myself, like, I waited for these kids for so long. I didn't have my kids till later. I don't want to be
Right.
like, I don't want them to remember me being hammered. And I don't want to not remember these moments.
Right.
So
Right.
that was a factor.
Yeah.
And then the next part was like, so then it was like I was not sleeping. My weight was all over the place. I couldn't control it. It wasn't doing what I wanted it to do, which was to help me relax. It was
Yeah.
actually making me more stressed.
Okay.
Um, and then the pandemic hit, and I was at a whole nother level of stress,
Mhm.
and also noticing in general my relationship to alcohol itself through
Mhm.
friends and self and environment, right? And what that relationship looked like. I had a lot of friends who were big drinkers. I knew some people who passed from drinking too much.
Yeah. Yeah. I've known a few now too.
So it made me kind of
Yeah.
really take a look at that lens. And then I
Mhm.
started doing, which you've done at Earth Magic Academy, the intuitive course.
Yeah.
And that brought me back to home,
Uh-huh.
meaning with the meditation and listening to myself instead of outsourcing myself to other people constantly, which was diminishing me horrifically.
Right. Yeah.
So this is where what I believe in, and I think we're kind of aligned with what you're doing is I am a visual person. I also hear things sometimes and just, whatever is it when
Mhm.
it comes to the intuitive, information centers
Yeah.
or gathering of information intuitively. But I do get a lot of visuals.
Mhm.
And and it's not a coincidence that right before the pandemic and during the pandemic, I booked a short film with, you had her on your podcast with Kelly Kitley.
Kelly, yes. Yeah.
And it was about her life.
Yeah.
And it was about her
You
kind
played
of
her, right? You
what? I
played
played
her?
her.
You played her. That's what
And it
she
was
said.
about
Yeah.
her getting sober.
Yes.
And it was focused on, which I think is brilliant of her to focus on that, especially now, the gray area drinking. The drinking that's for everybody else, not for you.
Yeah.
The drinking that goes along with the crowd, but
Uh-huh.
you're upset with yourself because that's not what you really wanted to do.
Yeah. Mhm.
Or just like, yeah, I drink, but I'm not in the gutter, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? But I'm also not happy.
Yeah.
So that kind of in between space. So
Yeah.
that opened my eyes up to that. And I was kind of like, well, that's kind of where I'm living,
Yeah.
And so between, so I was going to a screening of that film and I had this visual, and this visual has stuck with me so much. And I'll speak to why I believe that this is on par with where you're at. And you can speak to that after that if you like. But I mean, if whatever.
Sure.
But I had this visual of like a deep grave. I don't know why I have to tell you this, but it was at night. It was at night,
Sure.
just to paint the
Yeah.
picture. So it was like a 6-foot down grave, and
Mhm.
there was a body at the bottom of the grave, just laying there still, and dirt was being poured on. that person as if they're being buried alive. And it's as if they can't move, but they're looking up at the person burying them like, why are you doing this? Right. And then I looked up at the person shoveling, and the person shoveling was the person laying down in the bottom of the grave.
Yeah.
And so that to me, that feeling of like, that's what I'm doing when I drink.
Yeah.
And somehow, and so the reason I'm saying this is like, and what I focus on with Magnetize Your Light, which is the started with the workbook journal, and then moved into now intuitive coaching and
Yes.
creativity coaching, is when something comes to you intuitively, right? You shift more.
Yeah.
So it just has a deeper, more resonant shift.
Mm-hmm.
So that visual really kind of said, so I started with that visual, and that visual said to me, you know what, why don't we just stop for a little bit?
Yeah.
And so I did. And then everyone's like, well, how long are you going to stop? And I said, I don't know.
Right.
And I just kept thinking like, I'm just going to go till I go.
And how long ago was this?
4.5 years ago, a little over 4 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. And so when I say I've choose sobriety, it's, for me, it feels more empowering, because
Mm-hmm.
that was one of the problems I had with other messaging around sobriety, is that it
Yeah.
was like an illness or disease or a flaw. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, it's a choice we have in life.
Yeah.
You can be what do you call it? A wet blanket,
Yeah.
or you can be proactive
Right.
in every moment.
Yeah, I've shifted my labeling of myself.
Yeah.
You know, I don't go in, even when I do go to AA meetings, which I frequently do now.
Hmm.
You know, you go, hi, my name's Tim and I'm an alcoholic, and then you
Yeah.
share. I don't say that anymore. I just say, hi, I'm Tim, I'm sober.
Better. Yes.
I don't call myself an alcoholic
Yeah. It's a
anymore.
difference between,
You
it's a
know,
minor difference, but it makes a world of difference in the
really does.
vibration.
Yeah, it really does. You can feel it. It's
Mhm.
just, you're going from victim, ooh,
I'm wrong. I'm
an
bad.
alcoholic, or nope, dude, hey, I'm sober.
Yeah.
I'm expressing my sovereignty and I'm choosing sobriety.
Yes.
Not I'm an alcoholic. And that does bug me about AA, some of it, because people go around like, well, I'm just another drunk. I'm just another bozo on the bus. And I'm like, see, I don't like it when people say that. Like, and I will share at AA. I'm like, hold up, everybody in here, I hear I'm this, I'm less than, I'm that. No, think about what we overcame. We're some kick-ass mofos.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
You're
It's
going
like, give
against the
yourself
grain.
some credit.
I had to remember this, and I told this to someone, and and they were like, and I'm going to say it now, even though that person was like, I don't get it. And I was like, yeah, I guess I shouldn't use that analogy anymore, but I'm going to use it now anyway. But I remember thinking during this process, I was like, I'm a salmon, God damn it.
Yeah.
I'm swimming upstream. I'm
Right.
going against the grain. It's going to make me strong,
Uh-huh. And I think that is a lesson that we can take and apply to many things in our life.
Mm-hmm.
I had an addiction problem. I had a failed marriage. I had this, I had that. They're not really failures. They're times in your life that you were given
they're opportunities,
obstacles that you overcame, and
Mm-hmm.
you came out better because of it.
Yeah.
The bad job, the bad marriage, the addiction, the whatever. You get to a point with things where you don't look at things as, you're the victim of them, but if you overcome them and come out the other side stronger because of it, they become badges of honor. Where I think,
Mm-hmm.
we need to get to as a society, as people, is to stop kind of shaming ourselves.
Yeah. There's a lot of shame in AA that I didn't vibrate with.
Yeah. I think we need to stop shaming ourselves, and that gets back to authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes,
Yeah.
this is authentically me. This is what I've been through.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how I am sharing my story with the world. And I think I'm helping it. Since I had the courage to come out a couple of years ago and just be like, yeah, I had this horrible drinking issue. I had to go to the hospital. I was this. Do you know what? I have never had any negative repercussions from that whatsoever. In fact, people are coming to me like, oh my God, I love your story.
Mm-hmm.
They're calling me in private, like, hey, I know so-and-so. Can you reach out to them? They're reaching out
Mm-hmm.
to me. It's pretty miraculous. I
Absolutely.
mean, everybody at my current job, they know that I do this as kind
Yeah.
of like a side thing. They
Mhm.
think it's awesome, you know? So,
I have a saying, that I use a lot in Magnetize Your Light, which is, vulnerability is your superpower, and when you share it, you not only inspire other or yourself and liberate yourself, but you also inspire and liberate others.
yes. Okay. That just reminded me of something. Your quote that you gave me, who said this? I show my scars so that others may heal. Who said that?
Oh,
You told me that and I
it was a
use that one.
yogi, I think. I think
Okay.
it was
I
a
use that one all the time.
yes. Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah. You're the one who first told me that.
Oh,
And I've
now
been
I'm gonna have
using
to
that.
remember who that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's the
Yeah.
same. It's the same thing. But also think about the vibrations of the words. And I'm just going back to not to rail on AA because they have done a lot of wonderful things for a
No,
lot
yeah,
of people.
let's clear that up. You know, we're not dissing AA
No,
here.
not at
There's a
all.
lot of good
It's
that comes
worked for a
from
lot of
AA.
people. But
Yeah,
the frequency around saying every meeting,
yeah,
I am an alcoholic,
yeah,
versus the frequency of saying at every meeting, I'm sober.
yeah. It's a difference. There's a difference. I do it. I say I'm sober. I don't call myself an
Yeah.
alcoholic, you know? So,
Because that's the choice you made.
yeah,
The other
yeah,
one is the victimhood.
yep. It's victim versus sovereign,
Mhm.
sovereign creator. But back to that, so are you drinking actively now? Do you
Actively?
drink?
No.
No, I mean, actively, that's a better
Yeah, this is a pint of liquor right here. No,
Yeah,
no, I
well,
haven't I
back in
haven't
the
drank
day
since I remember my last drink. I don't remember the date. I don't
okay,
follow that. I don't really care. It was in between, like it was either before Christmas or after Christmas in that window. I was in New Jersey with my husband with his family. And we had gone to meet some friends of his in New York, and we were staying overnight.
uh-huh,
And I think we were celebrating my birthday, and
yeah,
so early or whatever. So we had gone over to one friend's house, and my Achilles heel with alcohol was either bourbon or red wine. Those are my
sure,
jams.
mhm,
So we were at one of his friends' house, and they offered me red wine, and I said no because I was like, if I take that, I won't be able to stop, and I don't want that for myself tonight.
yeah,
And I actually had a meditation that day, so I was like, I had one coming up, so I was like, I'm not gonna do that, during the
mhm,
thing, right? So, and then we went to another friend's house, and she offered me a glass of white wine, and I was like, "Sure," because I don't like white wine,
okay,
like, at all, you know?
right, right,
And so I had, like, maybe a half a glass of some white wine. I'm sure it was good. I'm not a white wine drinker.
mhm,
And then we went out to dinner and I had mocktails and that was the last drink I had.
okay, gotcha, yeah, so you're not object to drinking, but you're not sober, you're probably in the camp of what I would call, like, we say with Sober Awakening, I say it's for sober people and sober-minded people.
Yeah.
And sober-minded and, my 2 board members who London and Emily,
Mhm.
that's where I kinda got that. London is sober, you
Yes.
know, and I'm not divulging any secrets here. She's quite,
Right.
public
She's open
about
about
that.
it. Yeah.
And Emily is sober-minded, meaning she's very conscious of her relationship with alcohol all the
Mhm.
time,
Yeah.
but won't necessarily not have a drink if it's something that is appealing to
No,
her and
I haven't.
you know?
I'm not. I haven't had a drink since 4
Yeah.
years ago.
Oh, I thought you just said since Christmas.
No,
It
it
was
was around Christmas 4 years ago.
4 years ago. Oh, I thought you meant just this past
No, no,
Christmas.
no, no, no,
Okay.
no.
I don't know. You're pretty sober then,
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's where you're at with alcohol, but where we kind of intersected was you mentioned like the intuitive work
Yes.
with Earth Magic Academy. How did that pop up in your life? Because as I've shared with you, I had a lot of kind of what I would consider weird experiences
Yeah.
when I
Woo
was
woo.
young or intuitive woo-woo stuff. Then I started drinking and
Mhm.
that all went away. And then when I quit drinking at 40, I removed the low vibe substance of alcohol from my life
Mhm.
and stuff started turning on.
Mhm.
And it's kind of lonely because, it's number one, I'm a guy
Mhm.
and you don't have a lot of guys in this space.
It's
There are
not.
a
Well,
few.
I would say the intuitive. I hate the word spirit, but intuitive, uh, the frequency of intuition or spirit or psychic or God or whatever, universe,
Mhm.
whatever you wanna call it, right?
Yeah,
Is feminine in nature. It's fluid.
it
It's,
is,
it's curious, it's playful, it's
right?
creative, it's receiving.
It is. It does align with more of the divine feminine,
Yes.
which interestingly, I tell people don't think about it necessarily in terms of what gender you are or
Mhm,
your sexual orientation or anything
mhm.
like that. We all have aspects of both the divine masculine and divine feminine
Yes.
in us. Some of us just have, like, as guys, we may have more divine feminine. We're more sensitive,
Yeah.
more emotional.
Mhm.
Like I've shared with you, I was the only kid in my high school class when I was a senior. I was on the football team and in the theater,
Yeah.
so I was kind of that mix.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, enough about me, more about you. As I took the alcohol out, that intuitive, more sensitive side started to turn on.
Mhm.
And I was like having these experiences and stuff. So that's where I got turned on to it.
Yeah.
How about yourself? Where
Oh,
was your
well, like I
story?
said, I've always kind of, it's as if, um, every decade I would touch down like the touchstone back and deepen into my spirituality in a different way, right?
Okay.
And uh, so it's always been a part of me, and
Mhm.
I think when we talked, I mentioned my psychic Megan, you know, uh, did I ever tell you about that? So
Keep going. It
in my
might come back.
20s, after a couple of glasses of wine, psychic Megan would come out.
Maybe you
And
did talk about
yeah,
that.
and she was always right.
Yeah.
you know, but she could only read who she could read. And I even
Uh-huh.
developed a way of reading where I would just like hold people's palms and then I would be able to see things and,
Uh-huh.
share them. But I could only read who I was hearing, if that makes
Okay.
any sense, whose energy
Yeah.
was like calling to me to read them. If I
Uh-huh.
didn't feel a connection to someone for me to read, I didn't want to because I didn't know enough about it and have tools, you
Yeah.
know. And so for me, it was kind of, I guess, not quite the opposite, but a bit, is that I kind of drank. There's a million reasons why, but that visual, I feel like really clarifies it for me. That part of myself is so, to me, so special. And that's where I
Mhm.
feel so connected and purposeful. That alcohol was burying, literally,
Yeah.
that part of myself. And so that visual that I had confronted me with, "What do you want?"
Mhm.
And my response was, "I don't wanna hide anymore."
Yeah.
And so I was connecting with my intuition already, and I
Mhm.
was like, "I really wanna be clear."
Yeah. Yeah. So what led you to kind of formalize and develop your gifts? Because now you do readings for people, right?
I do readings
You
and I do,
and you teach,
coaching.
yeah,
Mhm,
you teach development of intuitive skills and
mhm.
things like that. So where did you decide to get formal with it? Beyond Psychic Megan that would come out
Yeah, Psychic
after you
Megan's
drank. Yeah,
retired. She's
Psychic Megan. Yeah.
Psychic
What made
Megan's
you decide
retired
to
for
get kind
2
of formal?
reasons. What?
Yeah. What made you decide to get, formal with it?
Go formal with it. Well,
Yeah.
I've always had this, want and need to help people, and I feel like
Uh-huh.
that's part of, um, being an actor, I know that sounds
Yeah.
weird, but, like, when you're helping people as an actor, for me, is giving them laughter
Yeah.
or giving them a space to explore their emotions or change and open up the way they think,
Yeah.
giving that gift of emotion. So, that's that, but, that's not always in my control because it's a collaborative thing.
Sure, absolutely.
And so, same thing with yoga, but for me, so that's why I was a yoga teacher, am a yoga teacher, have been for over 20 years. And so
Mhm.
that and yoga and Ayurveda, which fed my, herbology, natural medicine,
Mhm.
hunger,
You
which
know anything about this?
that's what I study. That's, Raja Yoga.
Yeah. Okay. I have this out because I wanted to ask you about it, but
Yes. So I'll tell you about that. My teacher is Dr. Vartika Dubey, and she's from Kavalyadam in India. And
okay.
Kavalyadam is focused on, and they have Kavalyadam here too in
Mhm.
New York. But
And let me just pause for a second. This is the book that I held up was the Yoga Sutras of
Patanjali.
Patanjali. It's
Patanjali.
Patanjali. I always goof that up because I'm getting confused with that character from The Godfather.
Oh,
Pentangeli,
I
Frank
don't know.
Pentangeli,
I don't know who that is.
I don't know. So I always goof up the pronunciation, but I actually read this whole thing. You can see
Hatha
my
Yoga Nushasanam,
what?
the first one, the first sutra. Hatha
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yoga Nushasanam.
All right, so you know this
Yoga
very well.
Chitta Vritti Nirodha.
Okay, you really are into this stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
Hatha Yoga Nushasanam. Now the discipline yoga. This is how I see it. The discipline of yoga, you break it down, you know? So
Mm.
Patanjali, for those of you who don't know, and we're going to get a little weeds here, but Patanjali, prior to Patanjali, do you know anything about the yugas?
No,
So the yugas are time frames in yogic philosophy. Okay.
okay.
And I always forget what the exact time frames are, but they do line up with some other time frames as far as like the Younger Dryas is, kind of in there. And anyway, you can go down the
Mhm.
rabbit hole on this. But the
Okay,
yugas, and there are two major philosophies on the yuga and their timing, the yugas and their timing. They can be looked at like a bell curve or a circle.
okay,
Okay. and this is actually very, well, I'll swing it back to our sober awakening.
okay. No,
So,
that's
the, uh, the time frames are kind of like, generational frequencies. Let's call it that.
okay.
Right. So if we're talking about, dense frequencies when you're drinking and you're not aware or awakened yet,
Yeah, I
then
like
you,
that dense. Yeah.
yes. So then when you lighten up your frequency, you get a higher
Mhm.
frequency, and the higher frequencies are lighter but stronger, right?
Yeah,
Okay. So there's two different philosophies on this. Sri Yukteswar, which was Yogananda's teacher, has a very specific, he has a one interpretation of the time frame of the yugas, and then I can't
yes.
remember the other one. The other one's basically traditional.
Yeah.
Traditional
Yogananda
looking
is
at
in
it.
Paramahansa Yogananda?
Paramahansa Yogananda, yes.
Yes, I am halfway through Diary of a Yogi,
Yes.
but yeah.
Autobiography of a yogi.
See, okay.
So,
Thank you.
yeah, same thing.
Yeah,
So,
Diary of it.
anywho, doodle, prior to Patanjali,
Mhm,
yoga, they were in the golden age, right?
mhm.
And so in the golden age, I think it's Satya Yuga, which is truth, is Satya. I believe that's
Mhm.
the golden age. I could be wrong on that. But telepathy is more prominent. Intuitive connection, more prominent.
Right.
Um, yoga was taught from master to student, and not written down,
Yeah,
right? You didn't have to write it down because telepathy, right? Or
sure.
whatever,
Yeah.
consciousness, higher consciousness. So as uh, Sri Patanjali, as he was coming down, as because he knew the cycle was continuing,
Mhm.
coming out of Satya Yuga into, I think it's like Dwarpa, um, Kali, and there's one more. Anyway, so it was coming out of this stage of enlightenment and going down towards Kali is kind of the stage of the most dense, right?
Okay.
The least aware, the
Sure.
least elevated consciously,
Mhm.
vibrationally. So he knew that we were going back down towards that. So he put together the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, which are a
Okay.
scientific system of yogic way of living, is basically what it is.
Yeah, I read them, all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what they were supposed to, the reason he puts them in aphorisms. So they're like little pills, each
Mhm.
one, that are supposed to be unpacked with a master. And the
Okay.
reason being is, and I think my teacher used to tell me that he doesn't use any verbs, which I don't know why. I was like, oh, cool. And then I was like, well, I don't know what that means, but yeah. So,
Mhm. Sure.
but the point, I think what she was saying is it was almost like he purposefully made it like a little pill to be unpacked,
Yeah.
because if you gave uh, for fear of it being misinterpreted, miscommunicated, and in the wrong frequency or hands, right?
Sure.
So, um, that's what that is. And it's a way, and he does talk about, as you get on, he does talk about intuition. He does talk
Oh,
about,
yeah.
he talks about the cities,
This I literally, we must be on the same wavelength right there, because you said intuition and I said I got to bring up the cities, and you just said cities.
So the
Yeah.
cities, for those of you who are listening or watching
Yes,
and don't
many
know,
will not know what the cities are,
the
so go
cities
ahead.
are, and I can't remember what they are offhand, but basically, they're basically like what we would call miracles.
Yeah,
It's like
spiritual gifts.
telepathy,
Yeah,
being able to time travel, being able to put yourself in more than one place at one time, you know,
resurrection from the dead.
resurrection, like all the kind of things we would call miracles, right?
Yeah.
But the trick with the cities is that once you get to the highest vibration of the cities,
Mhm.
in order to be able to that they're kind of, you open up to them. So
Yeah.
it's all inside of us. The Yoga Sutras are like a map and how to get there.
Yeah.
But just like a treasure map, if you are greedy and eager for the gold, you will never get it.
Yes. Yes. And as I learned more about the Yoga Sutras,
Mhm.
and I have a friend who is on my second podcast. His name's Zach. He's a yogi,
Mhm.
which is where I learned a lot of this from.
Mhm.
It started dawning on me. And I mean, there are people out there, the Christians would say this is just deep heresy, but I was like, all this stuff Jesus did.
Mhm.
Could Jesus have been a yogi?
Have you not seen the thing about Jesus going to India?
Yes. Oh, I've seen it.
Oh, okay.
So it started. Yeah. I'm just saying my thought process, like,
And if you look at the Gnostic Gospels or the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, there's a lot of what they're saying in the Gnostic and what they've said
oh,
and what she said in the Gospel of Mary Magdalene aligns with yogic philosophy, Buddhist
oh, yeah.
philosophy.
Oh, yeah. Yogi philosophy, Buddhist philosophy, Hindu philosophy, even though
Sikh philosophy, you know.
the mainstream Christians don't sign on with it, I can go into the Bible and I can look at Bible verses and I can interpret them differently than what a preacher might,
Mhm.
and be like, the way Jesus said this, we're just not looking at it right. If we look at it just a little different, it lines right up with Buddhist and yogic philosophy
Mhm.
and things like that.
Mhm.
You know, um, I think there's a lot more overlap than we tend to recognize. And as I read this too, I'm a
Who
big fan.
interpreted that? Who
What?
translated that?
Translation and commentary by Sri Swami Satchitananda.
Satchitananda?
Yes.
Satchitananda.
Yeah. Which I thought was a ancient mantra when I first heard that, but
Ananda means bliss.
okay, yes.
Chitta is like,
Sat
chitta is the
Chit
mind, intellect, ego. Chitta,
uh
Citta.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
sat is like, and I could be wrong on this too, but like, I believe sat is like, sat nam.
Okay.
It's a chant for peace. So
Okay, but
Sat Chitananda, if I, with, in my rough translation and limited uh, Sanskrit education, I would say it's like a peaceful, blissful mind.
okay, yeah. Well, at any rate, yeah, wow, that's some serious knowledge. I didn't know you had all that in you, Megan. That's crazy.
You're
But
welcome.
as I read this, now I'm a big fan of something called A Course in Miracles,
Yes,
which is,
that's another derived yogic affiliation book. Yeah.
yeah, well, it was channeled basically in, I think, the 1970s.
Mm-hmm.
But as I read this, and I've worked through the workbook of A Course in Miracles and things like that, and as I'm reading the sutras, I'm like, they're really saying the same thing.
They're all saying the same thing. I
They're
mean, if you
all
look at here, I remember as a kid, and this is what got me into herbology, okay,
uh-huh, yeah,
or natural medicine.
mhm,
So this is where my thinking went. I'm going to be an actor. I'm probably not
yeah,
going to be able to have insurance, so I should know how to take care of myself.
yeah,
So I'm going to figure out how to take care of myself naturally so that I don't have to worry about the doctor. Now, this is
okay,
way before where we are now in
okay,
the medical, thing.
right,
So, well, when I started researching it, I had a book know if I have it here. No, but it was a book about all around the world ancient healing medicinal practices.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the Native Americans and with the most ancient healing practices, the most ancient philosophies in the world, right? So you're looking at
Okay.
like Asia, different parts of Asia, Native America are kind of the oldest. Well, I would say Africa too, but I don't know enough about that, right? But at least between Asia and North America, they had the earth, water, air, fire, and then in India they have ether, space,
Uh-huh.
you know? And they all worked on the balance. The purpose was the balance of all the energies.
Mm-hmm.
And different um, medicines, different energy practices, different breath work, different meridians and
Mm-hmm.
points in the body accessed different ways to help balance the physical being, right? So in yoga, they're called marma points and nadis. In Chinese, in traditional Chinese medicine, it's meridians and acupuncture points, acupressure points.
Yeah.
And, some of the, even some of the herbs cross over with different names, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And so for me, when I was like, how do you know something is true? This is my like little philosophy brain. And I'm
Okay.
talking like I was like 18. It's like,
Yeah.
how do you know if something's true? And then it's like, to me, the answer was if certain people from different spaces all agree on the thing that was true.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the crossover? Where's the pattern? It's pattern recognition.
Mm-hmm.
So when I don't aspire to any or align with any particular religion.
Right.
What I align with is pattern recognition.
Yeah.
Where are the patterns in where are the good patterns? Where are the bad patterns?
Yeah. You know what? I love the way you're saying that because I'm at a point now where, and I've seen so many people talk about deconstruction of Christianity,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I mean, my social media feed is full of people who are talking about it, like these ex-pastors and everything like that. The interesting thing is they're not giving up believing in the teachings of Jesus and things like that. They're not giving up on the core teachings of Christianity. They're giving up on the label of Christian because it says so many different things. And they will say, one of them said, you know, when Jesus said, take up your cross and follow me,
Mm-hmm.
or give up your worldly self,
Mm-hmm.
it didn't mean just give up all your possessions and everything. It meant give up your identity and just follow my teachings. That's it. Don't label yourself. Don't anything like that.
Is detaching
Um,
from the material world, which is
it's
again,
detaching from the material world, but also detaching from your labels, like
which
detaching
is the
from the label
material
of
world.
the material. Yes. Yeah,
The
it
material
is.
world is labels. It's
Yes.
separation. The illusion of the Maya of
Yes.
this world is that we are separate.
Yes. And we're labeling things as separate from us. And now you're talking about A Course in Miracles too. I mean, it all overlaps.
Yeah.
Um,
Pattern
but
recognition.
anyway, where was I even going with this? We're kind of all over the board here. But we got into yoga. So you were yoga.
Well,
You
we're not all over the board. I mean, it all comes back to choosing like with sobriety, choosing the better version of myself.
yeah,
I'm choosing the higher vibration of myself.
absolutely.
I'm
Yeah,
choosing the thing that makes me feel, empowered. It makes me feel proud of myself. Intuition requires trust.
right.
And that's another reason if I look at it, if I was out drinking and or continuing to drink, this is for me personally.
Mhm.
Um, how could I trust myself truly the next day because I just did something that I wasn't excited about or happy about
Right.
or wasn't in my best interest? So
Mhm.
why would I trust myself? You got to look at it like a relationship.
Yeah.
If I'm me, psychic Megan, let's just call her that, although she's retired, and then and me drinking Megan, right? And psychic
Mhm.
Megan's like, I got to keep my what do you call it? My window's open, from 9 to 5 or whatever, you know what I mean? I need to be clear. But then drinking Meghan goes out and parties the night before and then shows up the next day. And now psychic Meghan's like, what the? It was like, why are you showing up all hungover? What, this is what I got to work with now? And then you're like pissed at the other party yourself. And then that relationship gets strained because now we're not saying things to each other and it's all under the,
right.
Nurture your relationships to self.
Yeah.
Let
me ask you this. What?
Said you look confused.
No, I'm not confused at all. So with where you're at right now, intuitively doing your coaching and everything like that, what kind of intuitive would you describe yourself as? You do readings and things like that, but for the sake of our audience, there's all types out there. If they're not, familiar, you can be psychic, you can be a medium, you can be a clairvoyant, you can what do you bring to the table? What pops up for you?
Well, circling back to labels, I don't like them. And so I even feel weird saying I'm intuitive because I believe everybody's intuitive. So
everyone is. Yeah.
It feels weird to label myself that way.
Sure.
But here, and this is also how I think about it. I have two thoughts on this. One, and this is where everybody's intuitive. We could all play kickball, right? And some people will be kickball champions and go to the Olympics. And some people will just play in 3rd grade in gym class and that's it.
Right.
But we all can learn the game kickball and play. How far we go with it, that's different. And that's up to the person. That's also up to just innate openness to it, right? That's one thing. The other thing is, I truly believe that we're all two things. And I thought about this the other day. Even though I was brought up Catholic and I don't ascribe to that religion at all.
Sure.
I align more with reincarnation.
Oh, yeah.
Even though that's not whatever, I wasn't brought up with that. And the reason being is because whether or not it's true, who cares? Because reincarnation, the idea of it, forces you to respect everyone and thing.
Yes.
So whether or not it's true or right or wrong, who cares? What it does is it elevates respect in humanity. So that's aside from that. But I do believe that our souls come here to, they're on a mission. The mission could be just to have a family. Or the mission could be to save the world. Who knows? But we're on a mission. And there are built-in things that our souls contracted prior to coming into this space that they wanted to learn.
Yeah.
So psychic to me, and it's not always this way, but psychic to me says two things. One, there's only one way. And two, which I don't believe. I believe there's a million different options every second. And two, fear. And I say fear because if we're only assuming it's one way, then if we don't get it right or it doesn't happen or it does happen, it just ignites fear. And to me, fear is attached to the brain because it's limited. Yeah. The infinite spirit doesn't have fear. It lives and operates out of the main frequency of love and all of love's sub-frequencies.
Yes.
It does not have fear. It doesn't need fear because the main fear is fear of death. And the infinite soul does not die, therefore no fear of death. The finite soul and the brain is part of our skin suit.
Yeah.
And it has fear because it's protecting the life of our skin suit.
Protecting its survivability.
When it comes to what do? What I say I do is I say I do soul talk.
Okay.
I listen to your soul. And whatever your soul is trying to communicate to you that you're not listening or can't hear, I interpret for you and then give you the gift of continuing your life path with that information, you making your own choices, right? Not telling you which choices have to happen or going to happen or whatever.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And then sometimes often people will come through and they'll
Okay.
either be energies or
Yeah, I've
sometimes,
had that happen.
yeah, sometimes they're
Yeah.
energies, sometimes they're like guides, sometimes they're crossed over people, sometimes the
Yeah.
people who are not crossed over.
I've had it happen. It comes and goes. It's nothing that I tell people I can do, but I'll be like, yeah, I feel
You hear
like I
them.
was talking to my sister, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm feeling Uncle Bob, and he's saying
That's
this, and he's here. I can feel him,
that's it. That's it.
and it's nothing that I go look for or anything. It just comes and goes at
No, and
times,
and that's the other thing is I'm glad you brought that up too, because it's like I've had people it's like you almost think that when you see or hear someone, it has to be like Obi-Wan Kenobi giving you a message from beyond the grave.
Yeah.
It's not.
Hmm.
It's like
It's not.
you think of the person, you kind of hear something that they would say, but you did not
Yeah.
choose to say that. And that's
Right.
them.
Yeah, half the battle with this intuitive stuff, like you said, everybody can do it. Half the battle is,
Yes.
yeah, it's not gonna be like Obi-Wan Kenobi appearing in luminous form and just talking to us.
Hmm.
It can be. I mean, people I believe have that happen.
Yeah.
But by and large, it's just learning to trust those little hits and voices and whispers that you hear
Hmm.
as real and not your imagination.
Well, in yoga, they
Yep.
talk about the senses. The senses distract the mind. It pulls the mind
Yes.
apart from its one focusedness. And so
Mhm.
I feel like the true senses, the original senses, the origin senses
Yeah.
are all what I call all the feels. Feel see, feel hear, feel know, feel,
Uh-huh.
which would be like clairsentient, clairaudient,
Yeah.
clairvoyant, all those things.
Yeah.
And we get confused thinking that we touch something that means it's real. If we taste something that means it's real.
Uh-huh.
But the thing is if we hear and feel and see something internally,
Yeah.
that's real.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm getting really a lot better at feeling that, like, it's interesting since we've got online here and we're having this conversation, something that's been happening to me, I can feel when things are in alignment because right now my heart chakra is, like, literally on fire.
Oh,
It's I mean, these are just byproducts, things
yeah,
that are
yeah, yeah,
happening to
yeah.
me, and I'm like, this whole conversation, I'm sitting here almost like it's this really warm feeling,
Hmm.
and it's like, that just means to me that
Yeah.
the conversation we're having is very in alignment,
Yes.
where,
Well,
you
that's
know
also a beautiful thing to point out is that
Yeah.
and that's the thing that I focus on coaching is how do you communicate with your intuitive relationship?
Yeah, and everybody's different.
That's
That would
right.
mean something different for everybody
What is
else,
your
and when I
how do you interpret work with it's almost like I'm a making this up right now, but it feels in alignment. Speaking of which,
Yeah,
like I'm a couples counselor for your intuition and you.
yeah, okay,
I mean,
yeah,
I have a new program that I'm working on, which is Trust Your Spiritual Badass. And the
uh-huh,
point is that let's find out, clear your lens so we
yeah,
can see clearly, operate from a place of pattern recognition. What are the
yeah,
patterns that support me? What are the patterns in my life that don't physically and energetically?
yeah,
And then how do I listen to my intuition? Am I more audio? Am
mhm,
I more visual? Can I do them
yeah,
all? What does this mean when this symbol comes to me?
right.
How do I interpret that?
Yeah, so you what you do basically is you operate from a point of structure, but you're very open-ended, as counterintuitive as that sounds, but you kinda do, you're
Well, I believe we are, okay, coming back again to yoga. We're physical and energetic beings. Yoga is
yeah,
Jiyun. Hatha Yoga Nushasanam. Now the discipline yoga. Yoga
yeah,
is a discipline of now. What is yoga? Yoga is uniting, right?
mhm.
And uniting not only it means to yoke, to yun, to
To
unite.
yoke, yeah,
So
yeah,
not just masculine and feminine to the
mhm,
Shishumna, Surya and Chandra, moon and sun, to the
mhm,
Shishumna, which is the center channel, right?
okay,
So we have the left side and the right side, masculine and feminine. Like you said, we have them all the energies
mhm,
within us. And the Shishumna is right down the middle. And the goal of yoga is to get everything into the Shishumna, balance it out,
mhm,
awaken the Kundalini energy, which lives
yep,
in the Shishumna.
uh-huh,
But it's not just that. It's integrating the physical and the energetic,
yeah,
the finite and the infinite.
yeah. Yeah.
Structure and flow.
Yeah. No, that's really good. Hey, I want to bounce back though, because this is something a lot of people get really interested in. You mentioned reincarnation.
Mm-hmm.
And I have become a believer in reincarnation as a possibility for the soul's journey. The more I research it and I look into all the near-death experiences and everything that I hear, it's like, reincarnation is a choice. You don't have to come back if you don't want to, but most of us really want to. When do you think, on the journey of reincarnation, when do you think we stop needing, or maybe at a soul level wanting, to reincarnate here on this dimension of existence?
Well, okay. So a couple of things I have to say on that. One, since we've opened up the can of worms of yoga, in the yogic philosophy, my understanding is that once the soul has figured out how to unite, the ultimate union, Kavalya, right?
Yeah.
Liberation. No more separation, ever.
Yes.
Removal of samskaras, removal of all the frequency scars your soul has accumulated over time. Then there's no need to come back. Okay?
Yes.
That's one.
Okay.
The other is from readings. And when I do the readings, I do look at, how many lifetimes your soul has explored this density of Earth, right?
Sure.
The skin
Yeah.
suit, Earth and female, or not female, but form.
Yeah.
And there's a couple things I've seen. And one is, and then Vanessa taught this, which is the long long flower stem.
Yeah.
The long flowers rose stem is, and how I interpret that is that usually that's somebody who's automatically, they'll be a little more psychic because they've been there, that not psychic, intuitive, whatever. They've seen humanity. They know the breadth of it. They're not surprised by the cruelty of it and the aggressiveness of it at times, right?
Yeah.
They've been there, done that. Sometimes those people are here like a chore. And sometimes those energies, those souls are here because they're like, yeah, let's get involved. Let's learn some stuff, right?
Yeah.
Now, what I've been seeing a lot is what I call an echo stem.
That's new to me. Okay. Yeah, that's a new concept.
Okay, so that's what I call it. So, so the long stem is someone who's lived a lot of earthly lifetimes.
A lot. Short is, less lives here.
Short is coming from a higher frequency usually into this density. And so they're usually like very sensitive, like highly sensitized, because it's just like, what the hell is happening?
I'm shorter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're just like, oh my God, I don't understand why humanity is like that. Like, why are people mean? And that can go one of two ways. That can either be like of someone, just being like afraid, really afraid, or just like anxious, or it's the complete opposite, where they're just like, I'm just going to shine my light. And you'll feel it,
Yeah.
Now the echo stem.
Yeah. What's that?
And I've seen a lot of this. So it's the long stem, and then I see an echo stem that's either short or medium, meaning it's like parallel, but it stops, so there's like two stems.
Okay.
And the echo stem, to me, is how I interpret it is this person came here, did that, done, they were out.
And came back.
Okay,
there's an
and
interesting...
there are a few reasons why they come back. Some of them feel like, it feels like a soldier energy, like we're supposed to come back, like a mission to do something specific. And it's two things usually. It's either something for the earth or something for humanity, or both.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to jump in right there. I don't know if you've ever read any of the Raw material, The Law of One.
Yes.
Okay, so they talk about what you would call an echo stem would be called a wanderer, according to the Raw material.
Oh, I don't know that.
That's somebody who has finished their journey here and they've gotten to a certain point, but they've decided to come back.
Yes.
And like that would be Jesus would be an example of an echo stem.
Yeah.
And some of the other masters who have come and done these things. people who have graduated but said, you know what, as part of what they're doing at the next level, part of the curriculum there is to actually come back here and coach. You know what I mean?
I do.
So that's interesting that you're seeing more and more of that, especially
I
with
am,
where
and
things are.
I have a working theory on that too. But some of the people come back out of choice, some come back out of soldiers, some come back because they really loved it here.
Yeah.
Some just come,
Yeah.
as like like a selfless service.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
the raw material says it can be all different reasons.
Yes.
But yes, those are people who don't have to come back. They're done, been there, done that. But for whatever reason, where they are, they want to come and dip their toe back in this one.
Yes.
As part of their continued development.
Yes.
You know?
That is what I
So,
see. And then I have seen a few of the people that I read who had echo stems. I'm just trying to like go over my brain and check, had revealed to me that they had been diagnosed with autism.
okay. Yeah.
And so I have a working theory, and this is obviously
Okay.
not proven, but that because this autisticness is on the rise, and actually I have a segue to this too, but I was saying like autism is on the rise and all that stuff, and how I see them is just highly sensitive beings. And they're coming to teach us how to evolve into the next iteration of this earth, of the
Yeah.
frequency of the next generation. They are teaching us.
Yes. And you know what they don't do? You know what these people don't do? They don't involve themselves in a lot of conflict.
They're too sensitive.
They're too sensitive.
Sometimes they do because they're too sensitive and they have a lot
Yeah.
of energy and don't know how to place it.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
but I mean that's more of just like an outburst or something, but not typically. And then what's interesting is I was listening to a podcast. I can't remember who it was, but it was with the doctor who did the telepathy tapes.
Okay.
You know about that?
I know of them. I have not listened to them yet. It's on my long list.
Well, it was the most
things.
interesting. It was like a 3-hour thing. And I was like, I listened to it over and I'm too ADHD for that kind of a length of thing, but I was so involved. I just listened to it. And it was interesting to me because she started telling me she's worked with autistic children a lot and finding that not only they're telepathic, but they can see things and whatever and how they, but the way she said that they see things and how they communicated to her what they see and how they see it, I'm like, this is what I'm seeing. I don't know, maybe I'm autistic, but I'm just saying like it's possible. But my point being it's just pattern recognition.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's really interesting. So yeah, but there's certainly a lot to it. What would let me ask you this. We've already been going on for well over an hour here. I'm looking at it. And when I have these conversations, I mean, obviously we could chat about this stuff for 3 hours.
Yeah. Oh my God.
We already have
wheelhouse,
been
right in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, exactly. And so what would you say there is somebody out there who is, sober or sober-minded, they want to start to explore their intuitive nature a little bit more. Because I think that what led me to it was not only I had some experiences when I was younger, but once we get the booze out of our system and we divorce ourselves from the addiction and the reliance on that, we're still deep in fear. And what I want to bring to people is I want them to start to tap into their own inner knowing and trust their own inner knowing, because once you do that, the fear really starts to go away. That's been, you say you like to utilize your intuitive abilities. You like to help people. I like to look at it like maybe this is helping people, but I like to encourage people to rely on themselves and trust
That's
themselves
exactly what I'm doing.
a mechanism to get rid of the fear.
No, that's my hope and point is to empower people to utilize their own compass.
Yes. Utilize your own compass. Where would you recommend people start? What's a good practice? Like, how would you say, start here in your exploration?
Yeah.
With me, it was meditation. That's where it kind of started to light up.
Absolutely. And meditation is a great is a great way to do it, because once it's like, here's the thing, like we're all radio frequencies, we're all different stations, right?
Yeah.
And meditation helps us dial in that frequency to hear. Otherwise, we're
Hmm.
stuck in the static, right?
Right.
There's too much going on, too much static, right? So the meditation quiets things down so you can listen to your pure, unadulterated station, which is your GPS, right? Your intuition.
Hmm.
That's one, of course, but not everybody's ready for that, to sit down and be quiet. Sometimes
Right.
there's not ready yet. And
Hmm.
also that can feel very serious
Yeah.
sometimes. It
Yeah.
has this like connotation of like, I must sit and be
Yeah,
quiet
I
and be
know. People are
damn.
like, I must
Yeah,
no, you don't.
discipline.
No, don't make it that hard.
So
But
here's what I'll share. I am absolutely love with I found Florence Scovel Shinn. Love her. She was an
okay.
she was born I think the end of the 1800s and was around to the early 1900s. She was an artist and an intuitive, and she has a book called The Game of Life and How to Play It. I
Okay.
also have coming up on my podcast soon, and then a workshop coming up is Jenny McFadden. She's an Australian artist and intuitive, among other things. And she's been working on what she's calling the quantum freedom formula. And that is basically using your intuition to free yourself from scars, blocks, etc.
Sure.
But, oh, God damn it, I lost my train of thought. I was so on fire. What was I
It's
saying?
all right. You were talking about meditation is great.
Oh,
We take it
yes.
too
So
seriously, though.
my point
Okay.
is the thing I love about Jenny, and she has The Art of Life and How to Play It or something like that. No, The
Okay.
Game of Intuition, How to Play It. That's her book.
Okay.
So the two of them and she feels like a long lost sister to me. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But is that get curious, play.
Yeah.
That's my other I have another saying. Stay curious, play.
Yeah.
And
You
when
say
you're
you tell people to
curious,
play a lot. I hear that a lot from you.
yes, well, you have
Play.
to. Because
Yeah.
when you play, it's like if you fail, it doesn't matter. You're just playing. You
Uh-huh.
laugh and you get back on your path. Also, think about the energy you emit when you're playing. Joy.
Yeah.
It's joyful. Joy is the
And
highest
you're not
vibration.
thinking too much. You're not thinking too
No.
far in the future. You're in the flow,
So play
you
with
know?
yourself. Test yourself throughout the day. Walk into, test yourself, I don't know. It could be easy as like, I bet that has, that dollar bill has a 7 in the third spot. And then you look at it, you're wrong. Oh, well, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe you're right. If you're right, then,
Yeah.
man, how did that happen? Let me keep
Right.
playing with it. That's
And
a silly game. You could
yeah.
also do, put something in your head like, and this can fold over into manifestation, but it's really just working with the origin, which is the energetic
Mhm.
body. The infinite body is the driver. That
Mhm.
is your GPS. This thing that we think is in control is just going along for the ride. And
Right.
this thing that we think is in control coincides in the emotions, and like it links in the emotions and in the brain, and in the brain's
Mhm.
thoughts and the
Mhm.
repetition of thoughts. So
Yeah.
I'm going to see a red bus. 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 I see a red bus.
Yeah.
I'm going to see a red bus today. I'm going to see a red bus today. But here's the
Yeah.
deal.
Now you are getting into manifestation, but I've never tried that. I'm going to start trying that today.
But the point is
Yeah.
it's not, here's what I say. The physical world loves specificity.
Uh-huh.
The intuitive or energetic world loves trust. So get specific, then trust it's coming.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I can think of some experiences I've had in the last year where it's been like I've been thinking about someone more and more just due to the, being reminded of them or something like that. And then all of a sudden, whether you love social media or a lot, media or not, I'll notice like, oh, wow, this person liked my post and they haven't liked anything in 3 years, or
Well, also make it a practice that when someone pops in your mind, reach out.
yeah. Yeah.
So even if it's just a text to say, hey, I was thinking about you. How you doing?
Yeah. Huh. And why is that?
Well, I feel, honestly, I don't know, but it's
Uh-huh.
something on the other side telling me okay, here's an example. Here's an
Uh-huh.
example. This happened recently. So an old friend of mine who I knew not entirely really well, but we knew each other, and we had met up a few years ago, and also an actress and also an intuitive. And I didn't know that. And we had a wonderful chat. And we had a mutual, very good friend, my teacher, who had passed. And so we kind of got together afterwards and connected, right? And she's also a writer and all these things. And she's been on my mind a lot, like off and on over time. And I was like, something about like 2 weeks ago, I was like,
Yeah.
I need to reach out to her. I don't know why. Just she's been on my mind a lot, like, 'cause she just keeps repeating, right?
Yeah.
So I sent her a text and I was like, let's grab coffee. Let's get together. Well, it didn't work out, right? Our timing didn't work out.
Sure.
And part of me was like, oh, maybe she doesn't want to see me. I don't know. You know what I mean? You can't help but like go down that path.
Right.
And
Sure.
you got to let that go. But it's a process. But I trusted that whatever, no big deal. If we're meant to see each other, we will.
Yeah.
So on Mondays, I usually go to what I call this actor's gym, right? It's like a place where we go and if you write, you bring material in. If you act, you support the writers with reading the material, that kind of thing. It's a place where we can support artistry in process. At Red Orchid Theater is where it is. And I absolutely love it. It's like my sanctuary.
Okay.
I haven't been able to go for over a month due to lots of different reasons, scheduling, whatever. And I usually go all the time. Well, I went last week, and who shows up at the very end of the class but this
Your
girl that I have been trying to get together with. Now, not only that, and we have a very similar sense of humor, right? She brought in a piece to work on. And it is very, very similar in concept, right? To something I've been working on but have been stuck on.
Okay.
And when she did it, she did this piece, a portion of the piece.
Okay.
I was like, part of my piece clicked in me. And I was like, oh my God, that's what I need to be doing.
Yeah.
And then ironically, the next night we were all in a big group that went to go to dinner and to see a show together. And then we got to chat and catch up. And I was like, that's why. That's why I'm like, you've been on my mind. And she starts telling me more about her project. I'm like, this is exactly where I was going with this. Yeah. And so now she's a resource for me in this process.
Yeah.
So that's a positive version of it. I'll give you another option is that my, one of the women, Annalise Shannon, she's a ADHD coach in Canada. And she's also very intuitive. And her and I talked on a podcast. And when she, Intuitive Insights, and she said that one day she had someone popped into her head, and she didn't know why, but it was just really she couldn't shake it, right? So she reached out to her and she said, she called her and their friend answered, and she said, her friend sounded a little off, and she goes, oh, I just want to call and say I love you. You're on my mind.
Yeah.
And the woman said, okay, can I call you back? And she said, yeah, sure, whatever. She hung up the phone. And later, I don't know how much later, that woman shared with my friend that she had a lot of physical ailments and was not able to kind of like override them. And she had a bottle of pills in her hand and was just about to take them. And she didn't really want to. Yeah. And she said, she prayed. And she said, God, if you don't want me to do this, send me a sign.
And so that reach out was the sign. Wow. That gives me, it's kind of interesting you just mentioned that, because I get people popping into my head now, like a lot, who I haven't seen for like the longest time. And, that kind of makes me, gives me pause, because, when you haven't seen people or, for a long time,
well, if
it's kind of awkward.
Yes. You don't want,
it's awkward to reach out, but then it's like, why am I thinking of them so much? Am I like psychotic?
If it keeps coming back.
Yeah.
If it keeps coming back, and if it feels strong, like you're like, I'm not trying to, like, this is something I'm not, like, this feels like it's coming at me, not me going at it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If it's towards energy, sit with it. Now, the other thing you can do in that particular situation is, if you are a meditator, sit down and meditate and go, what happens if I call them? What's the energy feel like? What happens if I don't call them? What's the energy feel like?
Right.
And then you have your answer.
That's good. I love it.
Trust it.
Well, that's a practical application right there.
Yeah. That's hope.
Awesome.
My hope is to, with Magnetize Your Light and with the coaching and the courses that I do, is to make, and the Intuitive Insights podcast is to make this intuitive, energetic, infinite space that we all own practical.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? And I can tell just by what you're describing, I love your coaching style and the things that you are trying to bring, to people. No, I can tell it's really, really good. I think a lot of people would enjoy working with you. If people see this and want to reach out, where do they find you? At Magnetize Your Light?
MagnetizeYourLight.com. And Intuitive Insights. Intuitive Insights podcast as well, wherever you get your podcasts, or on YouTube.
Yeah. All right. Well, Meghan, thank you so much. We have gone an hour and a half.
I know. This was lovely. I think
that's crazy.
We solved the world's problems.
What? Oh God, we haven't even touched on the world's problems.
I think we nailed it.
We nailed it. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
I love everything you're doing, and I love your friendship. I love you, Meghan, as weird as that might sound, and everything you're doing. That is awesome. So we'll just keep doing our thing, and you keep being you.
And right back at you. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Sober Awakening Podcast. We are so grateful and excited that you're part of this journey. As always, please remember, any businesses, services, or individuals mentioned here are shared because they resonate with our mission. We receive no financial benefit from promoting them. It's all about guiding you toward what inspires and empowers your journey. If you've found value in this podcast, please consider supporting our mission with a tax-deductible donation at www.soberawakening.org. Every contribution helps us continue providing resources and inspiration for those seeking sobriety and spiritual fulfillment. Don't forget to subscribe, share this episode, and visit us at SoberAwakening.org for more resources and upcoming events. Let's continue this path together toward a life of sobriety and spiritual fulfillment. We love you so much. Until next time, stay sober-minded and intuitively guided.